Good afternoon, Knicks Nation. Welcome to the next edition of Sky Hoops Knicks Dreams. To join the conversation, please drop your comments in the chat room. And of course, we will be sharing out the link in the event that you would like to join the panel and chop it up with us. With that being said, I want to pass the torch to my man, Bill Stradamus, so he can give us his take on the game we just won, against the Atlanta Hawks. And then eventually we're going to transition into the Orlando Magic. So, Mr. Bill, hit us with your ballistics on the game against the Hawks.
Well, in my humble opinion, we made that game harder than it had to be. We were supposed to put those dudes over our knee and give them a spanking of their life and send them home. And we started out that way. However, they came back and, they made a game out of it. However, we prevailed in the end because we have, I don't even know what to call them now. We have Julius Randle on our squad, and they don't, nor do any of the other teams. Julius Randle is turning into a superstar right before our eyes. And with the addition of Rose, and then the second unit of Rose Quick and the Force, we're going to be taking these guys out left and right. I don't want to hog up too much of the time right now, so
rock a little bit, brother. Rock a little bit.
Well, I really like how Randall came out. Randall had us on the chat. We was who was it? 2.0 was like calling 50 from him. 2.0 said, "Yo, he's gonna drop 50 tonight," and it looked like he was. What did he have in the first quarter? I think like 17, something like that. In the first quarter. Then he slowed down a little bit, but then he picked it right back up. Okay, I will. He picked it up, and he was dropping threes like layups. He was passing. He was rebounding. He was doing everything that he's been doing for us all year, and he basically put us on his back and willed us to that one. Although there was other contributors, my man Julius Randle was the superstar that he has become this season. I'm gonna chill now, and I'm gonna throw a bounce pass between the opponent's legs to the Dream, because I know he's gonna show out.
Oh man, I'm a 360 chocolate thunder this rim for you. So
he pulled the Daryl Dawkins card on us, man.
We may need 2 minutes to reset this stanchion, all right? So basically, like you said, Randall early, Randall often, Randall late. That was it, basically, like you said, the Knicks ran out 16-5 lead, Randall basically with the hot start with the 17 points. And, even though we got up on them 20-7, we started to let them back in the game. Then they scored 6 straight, and slowly they just hung around most of the time. And the abundance of foul calls just kept these guys in the game for the whole first half. I don't know why Trae Young wasn't really trying to play basketball. He was trying to draw fouls, which is what we criticized quickly about. He was playing that game, just trying to get into bodies and stuff rather than actually go make offensive moves. And the second half was a little bit different, but for some reason those whistles, man, they were on fire all over the first half. We settled for threes early in the shot clock in the second quarter, which gave them a chance to get back in the game. And like I said, those fouls kept them hanging around. But we managed to take a 3-point lead into halftime. That was okay. We reset ourselves. Again, came right out in the third quarter with a horrendous start to the third quarter. It took us a couple minutes to even get a couple points on the board. But once we did, basically, we matched runs. They went on a 9-0 run to take a lead, and we came back with an 8-0 run to take a little lead ourselves. And we went back and forth. And then, basically it turned into, what did the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap. I felt like Noel was giving him the business for a little while. Take that, take this, take that. And it was beautiful to watch. And I was pleasantly happy. In the fourth quarter, nip and tuck, again, back and forth, battle all the way to the end. And we just basically at the end we kept that small cushion between 2 and 5 points all the way to the end, and then we stretched it a little bit with a little bit of last minute heroics. Again, the late Julius Randle dropping in those threes, and it was nice to see that Barrett had a bounce back game like we had predicted. But with that said, I think the backboard was reset to the proper height, and he'll give it to my man Santana. Take it down the court.
In the infamous words of Mark Jackson, "Mama, there goes that man."
Yeah.
Julius was, he was just an unstoppable force. He brought up the ghost of Bernard King. Okay. He was channeling Bernard King by dropping 44? That's
Yeah.
what he ended up with.
Oh, yeah.
And Bernard King in his heyday, that's what he was doing on a regular, whether it was regular season and or playoffs against Detroit and or the Boston Celtics. I mean, that was Bernard King. And the fact that Julius is wearing number 30, a sacred number, he represented well. Yeah. So, kudos to him. And of course, much respect to Bernard King as well. I think overall they played the game the way they were supposed to play. They were supposed to win. Yes, it could have been a bigger disparity, but then again, I give them a pass. They didn't blow them out like we anticipated, but nonetheless they still won, and that's what's most important. And he was obviously that consistent force throughout the entire game, which is key. What I found most interesting above all was at the end of the game when he was going to be interviewed for the post-game interview as the player of the game and so forth and so on. Usually they set up a microphone, just before they go into the locker room, and then they have his teammates, RJ Barrett, I think Quickly and Burks. I think it was 3 teammates that were playing with the mic, like they were going to take the lead on getting interviewed. And then, of course, once Julius came over, they were, clowning around with him, but they gave him his respect. What that tells me is, first and foremost, the team is really supporting him. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have players and they're not happy because they're not the premier player, and they kind of, don't give their fellow teammates the kudos that they deserve. Well, that wasn't the case. Yesterday, you could see they were very happy for him. They were messing with him, but they gave him the mic so that he can conduct the interview as he deserved to. And that's very important for team chemistry. That's very important in terms of recognizing, okay, this is our guy. We got to ride this guy because he's leading us to the promised land. You know what I mean? So that was a very, very good thing that I saw that he brought to the table, or at least his teammates brought to the table. In terms of the players that played yesterday, not yesterday, when they played against Atlanta, you had some spotty play, but for the most part, it was a good team effort. And for that, I'm gonna give them a B+ as a team in terms of their performance. So with that being said, I'm gonna also, do a nice little, no look pass to my man, Bill Stradamus, so he could give us more of his take on that game.
All right. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Because it's kind of choppy on my end. What I'm hearing is choppy. So I was assuming that I couldn't be heard. However, I want to go back to mention a man that I think the Dream brought up, and I didn't give him any kudos or props. However, I'm going to give it to him now because you said that Randall was channeling Bernard King, but this man was channeling Mutombo, and that's Nerlens Noel. That dude, although his stats, if you look at his stats, it looks like he had a typical come off the bench game, but he was very instrumental in that on the defensive end. That dude was punching shots and altering shots left and right. And I think he was only credited for maybe 3 block shots. It seemed like he had 8.
Yeah, way more.
The way he was out there, he was a presence out there on that defensive end, and it was visible to anybody who watches and knows ball.
Mhm.
If you saw what he did out there, he was very instrumental, and it was a good bounce back game from the Riddler. You gave him the J, Santana, and I'm gonna have to find you after this.
Yeah, man.
No.
Yeah. You're absolutely correct. That was a slip, man. That was a slip, brother.
But
definitely, I wouldn't give him the J.
But he had a bounce back. He had a good game.
Mm-hmm.
He had a very good game. So he helped also, and I do like that the camaraderie that seems evident now, because these guys have now accepted the fact that Randall is the leader, and what we're going to do is do our roles as they're defined for us, so that we can go to that next level. Again, Julius Randle was unbelievable. Then Quick and Rose, when they came in, Quick and Rose in the force, they came in, and Rose didn't have the big scoring game. However, he changed that tempo as he always does. And we got to see quickly, this was the first time where you get to see him basically just strip off ball. He was just running around, getting to his spots and taking shots. And I like that. I like when he's in the game doing that. Because I think he dropped, I don't have my stats with me, but I think he dropped in about 16 or so quickly. And Rose, I think, had maybe 8 or 9 points. But they were still the difference. They still pick up that offense. They still give us that extra gear to go into when the starters when the starters calm down, so to speak. Peyton played well as well. And I think I like this. I like the way we're rolling now with Peyton starting. You got Quick and Rose coming off the bench to change that pace and change the whole look of our offense. But what I also observed was that Tibbs had Randall playing with them. And that was great to see also. It was, so he didn't have Obi in he had Obi playing, but he also gave Randall a lot of run alongside of Quickly and Rose. And with the 3 of them on the floor, it's hard. We're hard to guard. So we maintain that defense. Although so what's his name? Trey. He got a few. He got a few flop calls on his behalf. And that other kid who we were saying that we wouldn't mind having open, I'm kind of thinking differently about him now. The big man, he's a 4, but what's his name, Collins?
Oh, Collins, yeah.
Collins, well, he shoots the ball from the outside well, but we don't need him over here when we got Randall. Because he shoots the 3 well, but so does Randall. And Randall shoots the 3, I think, better than he does, especially when we need it to be done. So, again, great team win led by the superstar Julius Randle. That's my second take on things. Let me see. I'm gonna hold off for now. Behind the back to the Dream. Give me a windmill, Dream.
I'm gonna give you a windmill, but my hand hurts from the last dunk, so I'm gonna just hang my elbow in the rim like Vince Carter. All right, so that's what we're gonna do for this segment. And I agree with you. About the lineup. Also, one little thing that Tibbs did yesterday, or in the game, I should say, that I did like, or that I noticed, was that he gave us a little taste of possible last 5 minutes of the game playoff lineup. Rose, Quickly, Barrett, Randall, and Noel. And they showed out. And they solidified the game for us. Rose played tight D, even though this guy tried to get off on us. Jesus Christ, the little guy. I forgot.
Trey Young.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Even though Trey Young tried to get on us in the second half, there was a couple of times where Rose was going step for step with him on defense and actually blocked his shot. So I felt like that was effective on him. And overall, I did like what these guys did, Again, second game in a row, we had 20-plus assists on 40-plus shots. And again, that was 50% shooting from the field and from 3-point 3-point line. So that was kind of nice. We're not a normal team that shoots 50% from 3-point line, but it's nice to see, hey, once in a while, this guy's shots are going to start falling. So it's people getting into a rhythm, mostly led by Randall's seven threes that he had. But, all the other guys did contribute, did play a significant part in what we were trying to do. And I was happy to see that. That being said, I'm going to cross over and then sidestep this pass to Santana.
Okay, cool. On the Collins front, one of the things that I heard throughout the broadcast or something to that effect, I don't know if it was Clyde that spoke about it, but bottom line was Collins had turned down $90 million extension from the Atlanta Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
And he's banking or betting on himself to be able to get a better contract than that in the open market. And if that is the case, I wouldn't get him if I were the Knicks, because it's going to cost. If he rejected $90 million, he's asking for a big contract.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would be worth that kind of money.
Not for us.
You know what I'm saying? No, not for us. I mean, it's good that he goes for it. I have no problem with every player trying to get as much as they can negotiate. You're worth what you can negotiate. Those are infamous words of Chuck Daly. Because, at one time, Derek Coleman, who was their superstar for the Nets, and Chuck was coaching him, he went to Chuck Daly and asked, he thinks that he's valuable and that he should get a big contract. And Chuck said, you're worth what you can negotiate. That's what you're worth.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I understand that from a player's perspective, an agent's perspective, the more you get for your client, the better. Mm-hmm. Now, for our team, you can't pay Collins that kind of money,
right?
And Randall
is not making that.
Who's going to get $19 million next year? That's your priority.
Yeah,
right. And he's proven that he can be your guy. Collins hasn't proven that. Mm-hmm. Collins is a good player that can complement players on a team, but he's not a Randall and not at more than $90 million. There I'll be like, okay, I got to put the brakes on that one.
Yeah,
I think he's a good player,
mm-hmm. Right,
but I'm not at that price.
Yeah, for $10 million less, we could get Markkanen, because Markkanen also turned down an extension, but he turned down 4 years, 15 and a half. So for 80, whatever, if you want to pay $20 million to somebody, I would pay it to somebody like Markkanen, and then pull Julius and say, listen, your old contract is 19. We'll work on a new contract. We'll up to 25, 26 or something like that, whatever, because we have money to increase to somebody, especially if he's going to increase his play, So
and Markkanen's contract, he's still got another year. So you don't have to really negotiate with Markkanen right now if, let's say, we traded for him.
Yeah, because he becomes a restricted free agent or something like that.
Yeah.
So with Chicago can match it. So I'm saying we have to go outside of what Chicago, but we know what Chicago's number is, 15.
Right.
So they're not going to really go too much more. They would have already to lock them up.
Exactly.
So we can outbid them.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. So, these are things that, in terms of looking at potential, upgrades or reinforcement to our team, we have to be very shrewd, strategic. We don't have to rush. We're in a position where we don't have to be desperate. That's when you make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right now, we're in a position of strength. When you negotiate from a position of strength, then you're more likely to make a better decision than not. And so, that's my take on Collins. I don't want to knock him because I think he's a solid player, but not at the price that he already turned down.
Yeah.
And feel that and Markkanen coming over here, he's gonna play the 3, correct?
Well, he could play the 4 or 5.
He could, but I would personally play him at the 3.
But he's 7 feet.
Yeah, but him at the 3, you could interchange him real quickly in the offense on pick and rolls with Randall.
Right.
If Randall wants to step out.
Yeah.
He can go right inside because he has the size, And then between that and his shooting, what I think his shooting element really brings, it frees up Barrett.
Yeah.
Because now you have to respect that shot. And then we can let Barrett do what he likes to do, drive and get bodied,
But even if you played him at the 5, Randall's still the 4.
That you
Randall's
do.
to the 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you could have Barrett at the small forward or at the shooting guard. You know, you could. Yeah, I mean, that front line could be the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, of course, there's some folks that would say, "Oh, well, his defense isn't up to par." Okay, we understand that, but we have other guys that play D, and just because his defense isn't that good right now doesn't mean that if he were to be on the Knicks that he wouldn't be expected to play D. Of course he would.
He could be put in better positions too.
Of course. So, you know, I'm not too worried about that. I know in another. Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
I was saying I was looking at it from a perspective that would be a front line that would be so hard to deal with for the opposing teams.
Yeah.
Marketing, Randall, and Mitch, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
That because we're big. However, we satisfy today's game with regard to being able to shoot.
Yeah.
A stretch
because those two bigs, Marketing and Randall can shoot the 3 ball.
Yeah.
And they can both take you down low and get buckets that way.
Yeah.
That would be incredible. And I wouldn't be too concerned about Marketing's defense, like you were saying, Santana. He would learn. It would get better. It would be better under Tibbs because we play. It's not like we play where everyone is, lockdown defenders. There's a team defensive concept that we go by, and he would just fall in line just like everyone else.
Absolutely.
And we would get the best out of him, I think, with him playing over here. He would be a much better player than what we see over there in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So, that's all. Just wanted to give my little 2 cents on Marketing.
Yeah.
And so I'm down for him. I'm down for getting him.
Yeah.
And you said that he has one more year?
Yeah.
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 Hey.
He has one more year on his contract and $9 million for next season.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I mean, I think that's a great move if the Knicks can pull it off. You know what I'm saying? If they can pull a move like that, that'll be sweet. As opposed to the Levine, that would cost us so much more money. There's no need.
Yeah.
There's no rush. Levine can score, but he's a scorer. I wouldn't say he's a shooter. He's a scorer.
Yeah.
And he doesn't feel the need like a Marketing does. Marketing, because he's a big, he can play for Mitch and or play with Mitch.
Yeah.
And he could stretch the defense.
Yeah.
And he's a shooter.
It changes it. Yeah. If you put him at 5, it changes how teams have to play defense against us.
Absolutely.
There's nobody getting trapped under the basket.
No. So I think it'll be a great move. I know in the other show that I was on, one of the commentators in the chat, but Marketing's defense sucks. Okay, all right, all right. Until he gets to New York. Until he gets to New York.
Exactly.
That because that in order for you to play, you got to play D. So he's going to play D under Tibbs if you want to get some run.
Yeah,
that's okay. That's a risk I'm willing to take.
Yeah, I'm definitely willing to take that. This guy played with Olympic teams. He's not no slouch.
Right.
Like, he understands. Right now, Chicago doesn't even. As a team, they don't play defense well, so he might just be falling into the trap. Like, I don't really want to resign here. I'm not going to kill myself on a defensive end. They don't really play defense here, But when you take him out of that environment, you put him in a structured environment that does require defense. It's not that he doesn't want to play defense. Maybe he'll show up. Maybe he'll be a plus defender. We don't know what he has.
Right.
Right. We see him from time to time, and right now we see him giving something, not giving everything.
And believe it or not, I mean, when Phil Jackson was here, he wanted to trade KP for Marketing. He wanted to trade him.
Yeah.
Okay. The trade never went through, but he wanted to trade him.
Mm-hmm.
And he saw that way back when. I guess what he saw in Marketing, it was more durable because, KP, unfortunately, I think he's cursed. He's going to be damaged goods for the entire career.
That's all right. That works for us.
Huh?
That works for us.
Yeah. Yeah, no, listen.
I'm watching Dallas in the standings. Right?
Yeah, he's the trade or the gift that keeps on giving.
Keeps on giving. That's it. for a couple more years till 2023. Thank you, KP. That's it.
Exactly. I know at the time it happened, and 2.0, he was like, "Oh my God," and this and that. And I'm like, "Listen, brother, that's the best thing that happened for the Knicks." And he's like, "Nah, man, this and that." I said, "Brother, trust me, it's the best." Put it this way: even prior to that trade, and Akil will confirm this. I had mentioned to 2.0, listen, I trade KP for Donovan Mitchell. And he was like, "Oh no!" and all of this and all of the theatrics. I said, "Brother, I know what I'm telling. Look at the numbers." And Akil was comparing the numbers, and he couldn't argue that. And now, when you look back, I mean, we didn't get Donovan Mitchell. We got other players that we were able to parlay into the team that we have today, and we're better off. We don't have that albatross of a contract that cat has with Dallas right now in his damaged knees. So
all those contracts, they took all the contracts, all the heavy hitting contracts that were weighing us down or were going to weigh us down. They wiped that off the deck. And that was the most important thing, was getting that money off the books, because look at now where we're sitting. Right now we're sitting pretty. The team is performing. It's progressing under our eyes. We're making better selections in the draft. And now we have money to burn, right? So if we really wanted to go the way of absorbing a big player contract, we could, but we don't have to. We're not, like you said, we're not desperate. Now we make smart decisions with our money, and with our draft picks. And the people that we gave away are not performing as well or are still constantly hurt. That helps us in the end. We don't wish harm on nobody, but if your team that we traded away happens in those years that we got your lottery picks, you want to die out at the bottom of the Western Conference, by all means, go ahead, Dallas. By all means, this is 1 year, and in 2023 you could do it again, no problem, because that's just going to help us in the end, and it'll help us fill needs that we need. If I know King Poppy had mentioned, some guys coming out of the draft, some powerful centers and stuff like that could be actually players. I know one of them he wants to talk about, so I won't steal his thunder, is Evan Mobley. So if we want to package our 2 draft picks this year, 2 first rounders, and slide up the draft to solidify and snatch that kid, then that would be something we could do in addition going forward, to solidify the center spot a little bit stronger. That's just, we have options now. Before we didn't have options,
For sure.
Nice.
So we're going to transition now into the Magic game. So Bill Stradamus, give us your take on what you expect on tonight's game.
One thing, Dream, are we at the crib?
No, we're in Orlando tonight.
We're in Orlando?
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna go to someone else's house, and put our feet on the sofa.
Hey,
so to speak. We're gonna go in their refrigerator first, get a beverage, and then take it to the living room, put our feet on the sofa, turn on their flat screen, and then tell them to go make me a snack.
Hilarious.
Now, we do have to look, I won't say worry, but we have to have concern for the same guys that when the last time we played them. Who was that? Who's their big man? What's his name? Is that Valanciunas?
Vucevic.
Vucevic?
Yeah.
Vucevic, and who's the other guy? And Aaron Gordon.
I think he's hurt. He's hurt.
He's out.
Gordon is out.
Gordon's out. Cole Anthony out. And Fournier.
Fournier's out and Gordon's out?
And Cole Anthony.
Oh my gosh. I'm going up to their bedroom now, and I'm
Oh no!
No. And I'm gonna put on their bathrobe.
Oh no!
His and hers bathrobe.
I'm not going that far. I'm not going to do anything, not too disrespectful. Yeah. I'm just gonna put on their bathrobe
and flip flops
and get their slippers, and then come back downstairs. And then pour me a drink, sit back on the couch,
and smoke a cigar.
Yeah, hilarious.
That's how it's going down now. With that being said, let me throw the behind the neck Mark Jackson style to the Dream.
Oh man, this is hilarious, man. I'm just gonna George Gervin, I'm gonna give some ice on this and finger roll this away, right? So cool this down, this conversation. But basically, I agree. Now I'll back what you said with some stats. So this team that we're about to play is another team reeling right now. A bunch of losses. They're 2-8 in their last 10. 4 out of their last 5 they lost. And in 3 of those losses, they had less than 100 points. So it is the type of team we're eating up alive right now. Come on down, or if we got to go to your house, like you said, no problem. I'm going to do some donuts in your front yard and let you clean up the mess. That being said, got to beware of the trap game, man. Got to beware of the trap game. And I know, Santana, this is your department, but I'm going to just slide in real quick, and I'm going to say too much.
No, do your thing, bro. Rock.
Game, we stepping out on the road. We just came off this little homestand. We're going to step out on the road, and we did get a little lucky. The NBA gods fell in our favor. Saturday's game against San Antonio, who's hot, is now canceled. So we have a game, and then we have a little break before Sunday. Minnesota comes in. So the thing that really is on the table for me is that they need to win bad. They're missing all kind of guys. They're on this slide, and they need to win bad. And so that being said, I worry that this could be a trap game because we're not going to take them serious because they're missing so many people. And I don't want the random guys just to drop in and start taking away our thunder and our role where we are right now. New York Knicks in the last 3 games, man, 117 a game. So we're trying to come up off the mat. We're not last in the league. We're second to last now, but we're slowly coming off the mat of points scored per game. So that's a good thing to see. And Orlando allows 111 points allowed. That's similar to some of the teams we've been playing recently. So, if you're going to allow us to score, we now have that bench firepower that's coming in. We're going to score. So, that's not going to really shut us down. And, at the 104 points a game that they allow, that they score, that's right above us. So that's another team we need to pass in the standings. Let's get over this hump of being at the bottom of the league and scoring. That being said, I'm gonna wrap it around all the way around back to the front and then throw it over my head to Santana.
Okay. So this is the thing. I mean, obviously, the Knicks have won 3 in a row. We want to up that ante to a 4-game winning streak. Hopefully they'll play up to their level of potential as opposed to playing down to the competition. And that's where it's a recipe for a trap game or disaster. Hopefully they've corrected that. And now with Rose coming in, he's bringing that infusion of energy, hunger, desire, and purpose. He's not going to allow for the team to kind of, get relaxed or drop their shoulders and think, okay, we've arrived. No, we got work to do. We still got to go out there, bring our lunch pail, our toolbox, and make sure that we come to work. Now, that being said, the one thing about Steve Clifford, who's their coach, is he's another byproduct of Pat Riley coaching tree. Both him and Tibbs are friends. They have similar philosophy. It's about defense. And even the last time that they played each other, it was ugly. But that's to be expected. They're both defensive coaches. They play down the score. They don't play up the score. So because of their deficiencies, they're missing their premier guys, on the offensive side of the ball. I expect them to double down on defense first, slow the pace down, and try to keep this, under control. That's just who they are. That's their identity, no different than ours. Now, the advantage that we have as a team is that, yes, we can play that ball. We've been playing that ball since the preseason or the exhibition games. So now we know that's our staple. And then, of course, with the infusion of Rose, he's been able to bring the team scoring up a little bit. And so we just got to remain consistent in our approach and go about our business. And with that being said, I do expect them to win tonight. And then I'm glad to hear that, the San Antonio game has been postponed. I expected that because of, them making that announcement on Tuesday that they had canceled their game, or Monday that they had canceled their game. And so, that definitely gives our team another few days after tonight's game to be able to rest, get in the film room and try to close out the first half against Minnesota, with a winning record. Because we win tonight, we're at 500. We win Sunday, we're a game over 500.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that should be the incentive to the team. You know, I'll be preaching that as a coach. Listen, this is an opportunity to really get a stranglehold on our record and also being able to move up the ranks in terms of the Eastern Conference. That's the opportunity. We cannot let down. We're not going to accept anything less than that. We want the expectation is win today and prepare for Sunday. With that being said, I'm going to pass the rock over to Bill Stradamus so that he could give us, you know, more of his take. Okay, he's freezing. All right, so we're going to switch over to Dream, and then when we get Bill in, he'll jump in. Go ahead, Dream.
All right, no problem. I mean, you know, a little bit more of what we're expecting out of this game tonight. You know, I'm expecting Julius Randle to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs again. I'm expecting a triple-double out of the game. He's not going to be, you know, their defense is their staple, but the guy that gives him the most trouble was basically Aaron Gordon, but matching body for body. So he's not going to have that kind of defensive presence against him tonight. Hopefully he doesn't try to do too much outside of what he did, just coming off of this big game that he just had with the 44, you know, and the 7 and 9, I think it was, right? That's what it was? Yeah.
Right.
You know, yeah, the 44, 9 and 5. So, you know, basically outside of that, you know, I think we should be okay. Outside, you know, I'm expecting another big game from us, another day, another dollar. I'm expecting us to go get this money. And that's it. You know, Knicks 113. Magic 97. Keep him under 100. And I see Bill Stradamus back over there, so I'm gonna just toss it straight up in the air, see what he does with the big man.
Let me give you my score real quick before I go back out. I got us 114 to 99. We're gonna hold them under their 104 average. 114, 99.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
Like I said, I expect us to go in there, you know, feeling good off of Monday's W, and you know, just picking up where we left against the Hawks with the Magic. I don't know where the Magic are in the standings. I don't think they are where we are, though.
No, they're below us.
They only have 10 wins.
They might be like they're probably out of the top 10, right?
Yeah. They might be 10 or 11 in the standings, maybe, but everybody else is jumping ahead of them now.
We're gonna do like what Santana may have to do. We're gonna go get our room, take care of business, and then come back.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it. 114.99. Let me hand it back off to one of you guys. You handed it to me, Dream. Let me throw it up to Santana.
Yeah. So right now, you know, Orlando is, let me see, 12th. I mean, 10, 11. Yeah, they're 12th in the Eastern Conference. Oh, you know, in terms of rankings, with a record of 10 and 18. You know, 10 wins, 18 losses. And of course, you know, because of these injuries, they're reeling. So, you know, when you got a guy down, you keep him down. Don't give him life. Don't do what happened against Sacramento, where Sacramento came out, you know, they were the bottom dwellers. And since then, they've been one of the hottest teams in the league. You know what I'm saying? And their defense has improved since then. So you don't want to be that team that gives this team life. Nah, when you got them down, keep them down. And just keep rolling, keep positioning yourself. Because right now, the recipe for winning has been put forth. Now we got to execute as a team. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's about execution and winning games and sending a message that we're here to stay. For anybody who doubted us, keep doubting us. It's fuel to the fire. Bring it, you know, use it, bring that smoke. And handle your business out there on the court. And with that being said, I say the Knicks 110 and the Magic 95.
Nice.
And with that, I'm gonna drop it off to Dream. Dream, go ahead, brother.
All right. I mean, I like what you said. It's important. These games, that we take them. We just handle them. You know, like it's important to our standings and where we're trying to go. Right now we're 6, and each day that goes by, teams are winning games they're not supposed to win or losing games they shouldn't. Right, so the standings are coming back to us. Before we were bouncing back, we were like falling in the wrong direction. After a couple of wins and a couple of losses by other teams, it shrunk us right back in there. So now we're 6, and like you said, we get this win today. We rest a little bit. We get the win on Sunday. We could see ourselves on the positive end of this of our own schedule, and in the possible 4th position in the East. You know, with us looking back at our schedule with games that we gave away. So how strong could the Knicks really be? You know, like, you know, and I know we're not in the conversation with the teams that are better constructed towards the top of it, to the top of the East, but we did not expect this. So this we need to be happy with. This we need to get behind. This we need to support. And if they continue on this pace and add to it possibly the right way, these are things we can be excited about going forward. And so I'm excited to see this tonight. I hope there's no letdown. I don't want to see regression in play. I'll take the same effort. I don't want to see regression in effort. Not against this team. Not, you know, we already beat them. We have a formula for beating them, even in the ugly game like we saw. So, you know, and that was in the middle of the day when we had every reason to let down. Right, we just came off playing. I think it was like Boston or something like that, and then we ended up playing them on a holiday where everybody wants to be home. So, you know, we handled our business then. We have a reason to go in there tonight, do what we got to do, get back home, and get on the next home stretch, because we got the next 4 games home, and then we go out to Detroit. So let's, you know, it's another chance to handle some business, get a couple more wins. We're about to see some teams that we saw already. You know, Golden State, Sacramento, these guys are coming back to see us. So, you know, except they're coming to our house this time. So Golden State, you know, they're looking to get back one, and we should be looking to get back ours against Sacramento. And, you know, and let's finish out this schedule strong. We said February was going to be looking up for us. Let's let it continue to be sweet in our direction. With that, I toss it back to the captain. Take it away, Santana.
Go ahead, Bill Stradamus. Talk to us.
Well, I feel the same way. I expect us to be on the positive side of 500 by Monday morning after we get tonight's game and Sunday's game. And I am going to pay close attention to our big man situation, because I know, and I've seen you on the other podcast, Santana, and everyone is like, okay, we got to get a big man. We got to get this one. We got to get that one. And for one, we should be no longer interested in what's his name?
Drummond.
Drummond. Don't want him. Nor do I want to trade for any of these other guys where we have to give up great assets to get them. Now, if somebody's out there like if we can get the Fro, fine. If we can't, which we probably won't be able to, because I think their plan is to build around him.
Right.
So therefore, we have to we have to see who else is out there. There's talk about JaVale McGee. If we can get him for peanuts, I'd be down to do that. Or we might just stand pat and work it out with the crew that we got, with the 2 big men and Randall playing a little 5 here and there, depending on the opponent. But I don't think we should panic. I don't think we should. Well, I don't think Rose and Worldwide and that and the whole staff, I don't think they're going to panic and make a silly move like the Knicks would have done in the past, past few years under Mills and whoever else came before him. With that being said, again, I'm expecting us to take care of business, walk out of there, Jim, with the W. We'll rest up for what? We got 3 days of rest. Then we go back at it again. Who we got on Sunday?
Minnesota's coming to town.
Minnesota on Sunday.
Minnesota
they're coming to the crib. Yeah, like I said, Monday morning we'll be 1 game over 500.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
And with that being said, let me throw it over to you and order my lunch.
Appreciate it. And I was having lunch in the gym with Michael Jordan and Larry Bird. So I like to do trick shots, throw it off the wall, throw it off the third level of the bench, and then make my little bucket. But mostly to end the show, basically, we're just gonna throw out one last little tidbit. You know, I know Philadelphia, I think I read, was looking for some guards. They need some replacement guards. And I know people are always looking to move Elfrid Payton, even though he's been playing better for us. But, you know, I wonder if moving him and Rivers to Philadelphia for a shooter like Seth Curry would be something people would be interested in. So, you know, like I said, we'll end our show. Maybe we'll pick it up a little bit next time, talking a little bit more on it. But those are some things, you know, as we're getting closer to the trade deadline and team needs are starting to come about. You know, these underlying conversations that I'm starting to see pop up. So that was just something that I thought of yesterday, you know. And the other way is that, you know, Boston also needs guards. We talked about that. You know, so they have, as far as the center position, I feel like a couple of stopgap options for us, you know, mostly with Daniel Tice, because that's the lowest level of compensation we'd have to give up, maybe a second round pick or somebody that they might want off the bench to help them out. But outside of that, you know, I'm going to toss it to Santana. Take it away.
Okay, one last thing on the Seth deal. I mean, who would you give up in exchange for him?
So this is not something that I heard. This is just my own conversation. I read that they are looking for another guard. So because there's a team looking for a guard, and usually the conversations are coming our way, is about Elfrid Payton or, you know, Ntilikina, things of that nature. I was saying you could package Rivers, send him to his dad, and Payton, if you wanted to, and bring back a shooter. Seth Curry is a solid shooter. You know what I'm saying? And you could stick him into our lineup also. You know, not at the point guard position. What happens to us, though, is that now we have to make a decision. It breaks up our secondary lineup. That's the only thing with that.
You know, the irony about that is that Seth Curry is Doc's son-in-law too.
You know,
because he's married to his daughter.
Hey, I got to give it up for the blood over water, right?
You got a point. You got a point there. But you know, the thing with Philly is they've always needed shooting, and he fills that void.
No, I know. Yeah.
Him and Green
shooting this year.
Yeah, him and Green are the shooters that they brought in to balance that offense, and so that's an interesting thing. I mean, obviously, you know, that helps us if we were to get him because he can shoot.
Yeah.
You know, but would Philadelphia give up on another shooter? That I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're looking for a backup to Ben Simmons.
Right.
So they'd have to make the decision: is Elfrid Payton a better backup to Ben Simmons option for their team than bringing Seth Curry off the bench as a shooter?
Yeah, interesting. That's an interesting dynamic. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
There's something to talk about.
All right, man. So listen, I just want to go one more round around. If you guys have last thoughts, you know, I don't know. You got 10 seconds of what? What is it? Mr. Thomas? 10 seconds of hate. Bill, your mic is muted.
Low Suns, what happened? Oh,
they lost yesterday?
Brooklyn come back in the game from last night. What happened? You had them down 20 points at halftime. Next thing I know, I'm checking the stats this morning. I turn on the TV. It's talking about Harden heroics. That's my 10 seconds. I'm out.
Really? You know, I went to sleep, so I didn't even check, you know, what the final outcome was of that game. And I didn't even check it this morning.
He won the game for them.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And I went thinking, wow, okay, they lost another game. No.
Okay. That's shocking though. Considering that the Nets were shorthanded. They didn't play with KD.
They were shorthanded and down big.
Yeah.
Just went straight into Harden ball, basically, is from what I hear.
Yeah. Well, that's
40. He dropped a nice 40 piece on him yesterday.
Wow. Bill Stradamus, you got the 10 seconds of hate? Oh, I think we lost him. Yeah, we lost him. All right, man. So I'm gonna wrap it up. You know, as we always say when we close out a show, once a Knick, always a Knick. All right, man. We'll touch base during game time.
All right, I'll see you then. Enjoy.
All right, take care. Safe.